Former UFC interim lightweight champion Tony Ferguson is making the switch from the octagon, and he's facing YouTuber and TikTok star Salt Pappy. We're delighted now to say that Tony joins us now live on the show. Tony, good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
We're good. Thanks so much for coming on. Listen, we've got lots to talk to you about, actually. But firstly, let me ask you, what made you decide to get involved with Misfits Boxing?
I had asked my agent, Lloyd Pearson from Vayner Sports, as I was getting ready to go fight Michael Chiesa during the fight week, that, hey, when are we going to start boxing, Lloyd? And he put me in contact with Mams Taylor from Misfits Boxing. We talked on the phone, made it happen, and we found a good opponent. And here we are. We're fighting for a title this past weekend. Next weekend.
Is it something you've always wanted to do? Because you see a lot of crossover in terms of UFC and boxing. Was this something you'd always wanted to do throughout your career?
Since I was little, I was not allowed to box. There was only like one boxing gym that was in Michigan that I wanted to go into, and my dad at the time, he had said that you're going to stay in wrestling, football, but you're going to stay busy, but you're going to play intercollegiate sports, so that way you can use that as your ticket, as I don't want to say like as a free meal ticket into college, but as a scholarship. I was good enough to be able to do that, and it was smart, and so it got me a good education, be able to do what I needed to do, and I've hit the speed bag since I was around 15, 14 years old throughout my whole entire life. And it was just a matter of time before I found myself inside the boxing ring. This weekend, we get to be able to do that, Misfits 22.
Tony, let me ask you, I mentioned, of course, that you were the former UFC interim lightweight champion. That was during a legendary 12-fight unbeaten streak. That was in the mid to late 2010s, so we're going back 10, 12 years. Do you feel that people maybe have forgotten all of that, and that maybe perhaps you don't get the credit you deserve?
No way. I've just got done doing an interview with somebody who's been watching me since they were 12 years old. Now they're 27 and they're doing interviews. And I think it's a blessing to be able to go out. I mean, I play video games. Do you guys play video games?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Benty plays
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Okay, so in video games, when you beat the game, if you're allowed to, you'll be able to go back and complete all these side quests. Now, what I did with MMA is I did every single side quest that you possibly could, from fight of the night, submission night, knockout of the night. I'm talking about the win record, loss record, all these different types of things. I mean, I have a world championship belt, the Ultimate Fighter trophy. I've got a fighter's award. I have all of that stuff, and it was just a matter of time before I wanted to be able to switch sports. I wouldn't say that I lost on purpose in the last couple of years, but the interest was just not there. I'm a multi-sport athlete, a very decorated multi-sport athlete. And it was just a matter of time for me to be able to be like, hey, you know what, guys, let's part ways. And myself and Hunter from the UFC and Dana, we all shook hands and we all agreed to be able to not disagree. We all agreed to agree that, you know what, if you want to come back, you have your contract, you have things here on the side of the table, you always have a home here. But we wish you good luck in your future. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. And what the GFL was going through, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't go through, because this is an opportunity for me to be able to do something I've always wanted to do. I always found myself more comfortable inside a boxing ring, and I've always found myself inside a boxing ring preparing for MMA fights. The only time I ever found myself inside a cage was during fight night, which is kind of crazy how that works. But here I am this weekend. We're preparing for Misfits 22 at the AO Arena here in Manchester, and we're practicing over at Ricky Hatton's gym, which is amazing. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just a dream being able to come true. And, growing up watching Rocky movies, this is just that next step towards my my athletic career.
So let me ask you a question I get asked a lot by friends of mine or people I meet at the pub or whatever, is how do I stop myself swearing when I'm on national radio? Because, of course, you can't. And normal day life, when you're in the pub with your mates, the words just drop out sometimes. Nothing you can do about it. But I don't know what it is. When we come into the studio, we just don't. We just for whatever reason, we just don't. The reason I mention that is, from your perspective, how difficult is the transition between MMA, when you're in an octagon and you can use your knees and you can literally do whatever you want, to going into a boxing ring where all of that has got to stop? Do you sometimes have the need or the feeling to sort of sling a quick knee at someone?
No, when it goes into it, I've always been a freestyle fighter. As far as a freestyle athlete, I've always been able to transition from sport to sport to sport. And it's not like in baseball you can go and tackle somebody like in American football. In baseball, it's different. You have same kind of qualities and movements that you can use, but that is why I'm an all-around athlete. Whenever sport I'm playing, I'm going to be better than everybody at that sport. That doesn't matter what sport I'm going to play. You have not just my parents that'll say that. You have all my coaches that'll say that. Pardon my language, but when you go, that's what I'm saying. So what you do is you try not to break the rules, and that's how it goes. And I've always been an athlete like that. And playing within those guidelines makes you that much more of an athlete. You're able to, I guess you would say, shine in a different way, in a different
Sure.
manner that people, they never seen you shine in that kind of way. I have always found myself inside a boxing ring, and I've always wanted to box. I've always wanted to box. MMA, we weren't allowed to use shoes. So I grew up wearing cleats, dress shoes, wingtips, of course, and wrestling shoes. And when they took those away from me and being able to go into MMA, it was just, I felt, I won't say naked, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, here's a new sport. Let's play this. And mind you, I never did MMA before doing it. And when I went on a 12-fight win streak, it was almost like an artist putting all these different types of paints together and then seeing what was going to show up on the canvas. I mean, obviously, you guys seen me painted blood. You know, that's one of the things that, you know, I didn't really plan for, but it happened in being an athlete that I am that's able to shine in under, like, I guess, crucial situations. That's what we got. Now here we're in boxing, we get to throw on 10-ounce gloves, which have the same amount of padding on the top as a 4-ounce glove because 10 ounces all the way through here. You know, I mean, it's it's a blessing to be able to play another sport, especially at my age. I'm 41. You know, I just got my hair did by Bosley, which looks awesome, and people are telling me I look younger. You know, since leaving the UFC and then being able to do on this new adventure, I found that the stress and the wings on my back have been able to fly a little bit further. You know, it's I just read something. It's like my son sent me a picture from my wife. There's a picture out here in Manchester where there's wings on the wall, and my son is right there with his arms out, and Armand Anthony, and it says, "What if I fall?" And it has the wings, and it has that, and it says, "Darling, what if you fly?" And it's like, dang, it's like, Jude, like, instead of always thinking about the negative in certain things, I've always thought about the positive and where it could take me, and not just me, just the following that I have in the fans, and always being able to push people in the right direction and not the wrong. You know, I'm not always right, but put my through my actions, I always try to do new things, so that way it gives people inspiration to be able to go and do their own thing. And this weekend is another opportunity for me to be able to shine and show everybody in Orange County, back in California, that it can be done.
So Tony, how's the preparation gone? Because I'm guessing the preparation for the fight is completely different as it would be for a UFC fight. So how have you found it?
I found myself this camp listening to my coaches. The last couple of years, I have found myself being the main person to organize everything, to tell how my camps need to be and do this and that. And this, it became, I don't want to say irritating because it was nobody else's fault, but it just became tasteless. It just was not the same. Like, it's just, I've been doing the same sport for many years. I've had many different types of changes. We'll call them changes, from ups and downs in the sport, even before the pandemic. But during the pandemic, it just became like, it was more like work. It became like I had to do this. Like, I carried everybody on my shoulders. You're talking about like the whole world. It felt like, you know, I was getting sports back on and doing these things. And I couldn't let it go. It was hard for me to let it go. And until I finally was able to say last year to my agent Lloyd from Vayner Sports, I had said that to, and then my agent Sarah and my trainer at the time, Anthony, I had said, I can't wait to put on shoes and go and box. And for somebody that knows me, when I speak from the heart. It doesn't give a chance, you know, to hit the brain. I speak off the cuff, and I meant it. I wanted to go box.
Mm.
And God is good in that essence where the GFL didn't work right away, you know, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't, because this is an opportunity for me to be able to go down my side quests and be able to check this boxing one and not check it off yet,
Yeah.
because I have a whole bunch of side quests that I want to accomplish here in this boxing avenue.
So listen, it sounds like a great night of fights, not just yours. I know Darren Till's on the card as well, so it'll be a great night of boxing. Thanks so much for your time, and good luck as well, Tony.